Engine 1 for Car 1. Car 1's on scene. Assuming command. Give me a C.A.N report.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein, stickers of the C.A.N report. Nozzle Tov, everybody. I have Lawrence, Mass in the house. We got New England representing here today. We got New Hampshire. We got Lawrence, Mass. So I'm pumped to have him in. This is a very special guest, very dear friend, and I am so happy to have him on. We've been talking for a while, and we finally got our schedules to actually line up, and we have him with us today, and it's Miguel Baez. Miguel, welcome to the C.A.N report, my brother.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure for me, man. This is amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure. So happy to have you. Miguel and I met up in, it was during the Explorer Academy now 2 years ago at the Explorer Academy. And Miguel has an amazing story, an amazing journey about finding faith, about coming out of something that most people wouldn't be able to triumph. And he did it. And I just love everything about you. Your message that you have to give, the way you talk to the kids and the youth to let them know like you could overcome obstacles, and you deliver it with such passion. And I have to let the world know who you are. And I hope that what we talk about tonight helps others to carry on and overcome adversity and some trauma in their life. And so, Miguel, I'm pumped, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, man. Thank you. Let's do it. Yeah, I hope so. I hope this interview, gets out there and people really pay attention, and it's good. It's gonna be good.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to jump into it. So quick, before I get into his bio, again, I always like to just remind people, please click like, subscribe. It helps. It really does. It lets me know you guys are listening. If there's anything you guys want to see differently, let me know. If there's guests that you feel like you want to listen to or to see, shoot me a message. And if you yourself has something you feel like you need to talk about or say, or you have a good message or a product you want to talk about, shoot me a message and we'll get it going. I'm here for you guys. So I'm very happy to have this platform. I'm very happy to be able to talk to people like Miguel and other guests I have on here to preach their message, to give the good word. And if you guys out there have something that you want to bring to the table to help others, again, shoot me a message. We'll get it going. So we're going to jump into Miguel Baez's bio real quick. Miguel Baez is a dedicated firefighter with over 24 years of service in the Lawrence, Mass area, a survivor of a life-changing motorcycle accident that resulted in an amputation of his right leg and multiple serious injuries. Miguel's journeys embodies resilience and hope. After spending 3 weeks in a coma, he emerged with a renewed perspective on life, focusing on gratitude, community, and the importance of service to others. Miguel is passionate about sharing his story to inspire and empower individuals to embrace their challenges and recognize their greatness within themselves. Miguel believes that every obstacle presents an opportunity for growth, and he is committed to making a positive impact on those he encounters. Miguel, thank you for that. Thank you for being on the show. So we're going to get into it, my man. Miguel Baez.
Yes.
So you are a firefighter on the Lawrence, Mass Fire Department, correct?
Yes.
Cool. And tell me about that.
I started in 2000. I began a firefighting career 2002. It was something that I wanted to do for a long time. I got here to United States in 2000 and 1987. I was 14 years old, and
Where'd you come from?
I came from the Dominican Republic. I
Okay.
came from a really poor town in Dominican Republic. No running water, no lights, no electricity, and I witnessed a wooden shack fire in the Dominican Republic, in which an old lady perished. She died. And what got me was the intensity of the firefighters trying to get in there and save the lady. It was, to me, that was an awe moment. I really, there was a lot of people, commotions and people trying to help out, but those guys really, really tried their best to get the lady out and put the fire out. And that that really got to me. That imprinted in me, and those screams coming from inside the house, you could never forget those screams, you know.
Mm.
And I said, "Wow, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to help people." And I was, oh my God, I was probably like 12, maybe 12, 11. And then I got here at 14, in '87, and just like everybody else, I came here with my grandmother and my father, and I could not leave my house. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't visit anybody. It was just me and in my room. And one of the things that I decided at that time was I'm going to learn English. I want to learn English. I knew I was going to live here, and I was looking forward to learn English and also hopefully become a firefighter here, because again, it was that passion. I came with a dream from Dominican Republic. And but you know, hanging out with friends on the street, really not having anybody that really gave you a good talk about how things are, and so I opted for staying on the street, man.
Mm.
But my thing was cars. I was messing around, I was fucking around with cars. Yeah, you name it, and that got me in a lot of trouble with the law. Before I had my before I had my learner's permit, I already been arrested like 3 times just because I was driving without a license and going nuts. And my dad was very, very strict. So I was hanging out with kids on the street playing a lot of basketball, and my dad used to whip my ass because they didn't want me on the street. So, but I became of age, and went to high school, Lawrence High School, for 2 years. Um, I started just hanging around with guys in high school and messing with cars, alcohol. I really wasn't into drugs, but alcohol was a big thing for me, and that got me in a lot of trouble. So firefighting was gone. Street was a lot more important. Hanging around with the guys, staying out late, fucking around with cars and things like that. So firefighting was out of the question, man. Yeah, I did not even thought about firefighting, and my life really took a dive because I got into a lot of trouble with the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, by the time by the time I graduated high school, my license was suspended for 3 years. I was in high school, in senior. I was a senior in high school, and by that time my license was just suspended. I didn't have a license. And I
Mm.
remember I remember being married at 27, and the judge, I was pulled over for driving without a license, and the judge sentenced me, and he said, if we catch you one more time driving without a license, your license will be suspended indefinite. And that was it. That was a awakening moment for me. I said, I'm done with this thing. I grabbed a bike, and I started going to work with my on a bicycle.
Bicycle.
So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I was going to work with a
Mhm.
bicycle. I was doing office furniture. I was installing office furniture
What
at
did
that
your
time.
What did your dad do?
My dad used to work at a factory. He
Hmm.
used to work at a factory doing with the leather, some sort of like belt and things like that. And they were busy. My mom and my grandma were busy, and it was just us three. And I was just taking the time when they weren't home, and I used to just go out and hang out. And knowing when they were coming home, I used to just come home real quick,
Yeah.
at the beginning, because they were very strict with me. But I didn't have anything. All I had was I was very scared when I got here because I didn't know how things were. I didn't know how people were. So I didn't know English. I didn't know anything. So I was very scared. So one of the things that I started doing was trying to be funny, trying to be not obnoxious, but like making a joke about little things. And that opened a lot of doors with a lot of people. Like a lot of people started to accept me, like guys and people in general, because I was more of a clown than anything. I've
Sure.
actually I've actually graduated the Arlington School in 80, 87, 88 as a class clown because I got I was just a clown, man. I came here, I just started being a clown, try to fit in with people, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're using laughter and comedy as a not a crutch, but as a tool to try to gain friends and to mask some of those insecurities.
Yes.
That's honestly like that's a lot of comedians. That's kind of how they became comedians. Is there was something in life that they were insecure about, and they comedy came easy in that way to protect them as a mask, and they took off with that. So that's it's important that you knew that's working for you, and it actually helped you learn English. It helped you to make friends. But there's sometimes there's that sadness in it too. Like a lot of comedians, it depresses them because people think they have to be funny all the time, right? So for comedians themselves, like everyone's always like, tell me that joke, it'd be funny. Like, well, I'm not in the mood to be funny today. Did you ever have those kind of situations where you're like, yeah, I don't have the energy to be the comedian today?
Yeah, not at that time. Like I'm still like a joker. You know, we're in the
Hmm.
department. We use a lot of sarcastic and dark humor. I'm a dark humor person, man. I mean, people that knows me knows that I'm a dark humor person. So at that time, no, at that time I wasn't thinking about that because all my thinking was, I was here by myself. I knew that I needed to get used to the system, the people around, everyone around me, and things like that. I was just fresh from DR, so I didn't have the moment where I felt sad. On the contrary, I felt happy, even though it was just me and my grandmother and my dad here, because it's different, man. You coming from a
Yeah.
place where you have nothing, all of a sudden you come in here and you have a color TV. You see snow for the first time. You buy a new pair of shoes and all this stuff, and everything that was coming around, the people you were meeting. So I didn't have the time to feel sad or anything like that.
Yeah.
That came later on in the fire department. That's you know, yeah, and again, even in the fire department, I'm a not the funny guy, but I try to use humor a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's just part of who I am in the human side of it. I don't take anything serious, man.
Yeah. Life's too short to be serious all the time, right?
Correct, correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Now, how did you get into the fire service? So here you are, you're from Dominican Republic, right? You moved here when you were 14 years old. You're learning English as a second language. You have no fire background, right? You were
Right,
14 years old when you came to the States.
right.
So how did you get involved in the fire service?
Um, I was driving one day and I saw, I was in ESL class and the same grade, they had the same grade, one for Spanish people and the other one for people that knew English. Spanish people that knew English. So we were side by side and we would interact a lot. We interacted a lot with those kids. And I remember seeing a guy named Willie Pagan that was in the English class. And we interact and we talk like that. And one day I drove by Essex Street and I saw the whole fire truck and they were at a call. And I saw Willie Pagan going, he was a fireman going into the building. And I say, wait a minute, that's Willie. And I say, wow. And that went right back. It just got back. I'm like, damn, man, that's what I want to do. So I went home that day and I remember having a conversation with my wife at that time. We were just married. Um, and I prior to that, like maybe a month before, I didn't have my license was suspended, so I applied for a Cinderella license. They used to call it back in the days. I don't know if they still have it, but it's a license that they give you from 5 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, just so you can go to work and back.
Hmm.
And I had a daughter. We had a daughter at that time that was just a few months old. So I applied for a Cinderella license so I can just go to work and come back and take my daughter to the appointments and things like that. I had to get a lot of shit, man. Letter from the doctor, from my job, from everybody, which they gave it to me, and it was amazing. So when they gave it to me, my wife said, "Listen, because my life was a mess, man. My life was a mess. I was just working, probably like 6 in the morning until whenever at night, doing office furniture, and I had nothing to look forward. I was just earning money because I just got married. I have a 2-month-old daughter, and I wasn't thinking of anything. So my wife at one time said, "Listen, what do you want to do with your life? What do you what is your dream? Do you aspire to something? And
Yeah.
I told her, I'm like, you know what? I always wanted to be a firefighter. Always wanted to be a firefighter, but I have never taken the leap. And I went to work, and the next day, on my table was the application for the fire department. She goes, here, there you go. All you have to do is fill it out. So I didn't know nothing about anything, anybody. The only person I knew was Willie Pagan. And I signed it up. I sent it in. I remember that uh, took the test, did everything need to be done, and I remember that the 2 years for the hiring process was done, was over. So I didn't. They never called me for those 2 years, and I completely forgot all about it. And then I'm like, oh, I was looking into the next test coming up, and one day I went to work after um that everything was the process was over. And the chief, I got home, and the wife says the chief left you this note. It was the that card to show up.
Yeah.
So I said, absolutely. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just ran to the fire department, and I said, I just came here for the job. And he goes, yep, if you still want the job. I'm like, absolutely. He goes, all right, sign here. I signed, and it was it, man. It was over. There were 22 of us that got hired at that time, that process, and I was the last one out of the 22.
Wow.
And yeah, when I tell you, when you want something for real, like, it's yours. So yeah, that's exactly how it happened. I got home and I said, I think I got the job. I think he told me, I got the job. And then yeah, and then it was all downhill from there, man. I was so excited. That's how I got on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what an amazing experience. Just getting that, and the chief's like, yeah, if you want it, it's still here for you.
Yeah.
I mean, when you didn't think you actually got it and completely forgot about it. Now,
Abs-
again, not having any of that background, because you were 27 at the time, right?
yes.
So what was that process like now? Because you didn't have real any schooling before. You did high school, right?
Yes. Yes.
But now you're, yeah,
No, my English was getting better.
getting better.
It
Okay.
was. Oh yeah. I was really, I was really fresh. I spoke English even if I didn't know how to. I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted to learn English. So I just 6 months after being in school in eighth grade, I just started blabbing English however it came out. I remember being in high school freshman, and I was in we were in class, and someone knocked on the door, and I was on the back next to the door, so I raised my hand, and the teacher says, yes, Miguel. I say, teacher, someone is touching the door, meaning they were knocking, because knocking in English, in Spanish, touching and knocking is the same thing. So I
Mm.
I I said someone is touching the door, meaning like knocking, but everybody started laughing. Like everybody knew that it was the wrong word, and the whole class just started laughing. So the girl in front of me says, "You don't said touching, you said knocking," and she explained to me the difference between knocking and touching. And man, I fell in love with that girl, man. I I fell in love with a girl just because of that. I was a chump, man. I never talked to anybody. I didn't have a girlfriend, none of that stuff, because I was always scared. But I didn't give
Yeah.
a crap. I was very outgoing in that way.
You
Yeah.
seem like you'd
So
be a very outgoing person for sure. So like now you got hired. So now you still have to take obviously all the classes to get your certs to be part of the Lawrence Fire Department. What having no prior experience and real no knowledge of the inner workings, like you didn't come up in the fire service family, and you only saw from what you saw, and that's what you know. So how did that go? Learning now the fire service world, you're accomplishing English, you're making it, in America, and now you're doing the fire service gig. What was that like doing the fire academy and now having to learn a whole new education of doing our job?
man, I tell you, I loved it. I was very active, active as working out. I used to do a lot of exercise. I used to play a lot. I used to play basketball. I used to play all kinds of sport, mountain bike. Um, after when I left, I left that office furniture company, and at that time I had the office furniture company um working at a restaurant in the kitchen. And I remember all my friends in the kitchen is like, "Oh, dude, you good? You becoming a fireman, man? Like, yeah, that's good." And I was excited. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." So I went to the academy, and I tell you, man, I loved it. When I tell you
Nice.
that I loved it, I loved it. I was the loudest guy in the academy. I remember guys from Mashpee every time we had to do like, okay, we're gonna do ladder drills today. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do ladder drills, yeah. You know, okay, we're gonna go to the burn building. Yeah, we're gonna go to the burn building. And the guy said, Miguel, shut the fuck up, man. They're gonna give us gig. You're gonna get us into trouble. And I know and I remember an instructor with the last name Blanchard, and everybody says, "Oh, he's an asshole. He's the worst guy. He's all this shit." But I think he saw how much I enjoy, um, the academy and working out and doing everything. Like I was the guy that was first for everything, every single thing. When they needed a volunteer, I raised my hands every single time. I wanted this thing so bad, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed running. I enjoyed carrying ladders. I enjoyed oh my god, the burning buildings. I enjoyed everything. Even in 2004, I was the last guy out of the 22. Tim Button is a firefighter named Timmy Button. His father was a captain, and him and I were the last two guys that went to the academy, and we had a ball, man. I worked on the truck 2 years prior to going to the academy, and I remember that we weren't supposed to go into fires, and I had a captain named Captain Stokes that I was under. And he goes, "Kid, if you're working in my truck, I don't give a fuck. You coming with me. Just stay with me." He was so cool, man. He's like, "Stay with me and do what I tell you." Man, I loved it, man, because at that time it was when Lawrence was coming out of the arson era. So we still were having like three alarm fires every day, And to me it was like fucking I loved it. I was into it. So I remember in 2004, my chief at that time was an instructor at the fire academy, and he needed he needed a Hispanic a Hispanic firefighter to give him firefighter of the year for they had a golden circle, and they were looking for a firefighter Hispanic because it was Hispanics month or something.
Hmm.
And he out of everybody, all the Hispanic people, I got firefighter of the year for the academy, for my how I conducted myself in the academy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm the only guy in Lawrence that have had that. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, the fuck you got firefighter of the year for the academy?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just went and I loved the academy. I enjoyed it." So yeah, so it was amazing, man. It was awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. Your passion is still here though, too. The energy is crazy, dude. Like I want to bottle that up and use it when I need it. So you did the academy, and now when you got the job and you started it, what did your parents think? Because again, they're coming from Dominican Republic and not having anybody who's ever in the fire service. Now you're a firefighter for the community you guys live in. So what was that like for them? Were they really happy for you?
My father was. I remember when I got here, I told my dad because it was always in Dominican. Back in those days in the 80s, a lot of the young people that came from Dominican, they always got in, they got into trouble. They got into drugs. They got problem with the police and all that. And that was my mother's fear that if I came here, I was gonna go that route.
Hmm.
So I told my mom and my grandmom and my dad, I promise you guys that I will not give you guys anything, nothing bad that people will talk, nothing negative of me. I make sure that, everything I do, I'll make you guys proud. So when I became a firefighter, my dad was never the guy that ever showed emotion.
Hmm.
He was happy, obviously. He was very happy that I was a firefighter, that I made it. But my grandmother is like, Miguel, if there's a fire, don't go in. Don't go in. Stay outside. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that, Grandma. But yeah, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll be
Yeah,
okay.
I'd be out of a job, Grandma, but I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
She's like, you can stay outside. Don't go in.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome. So, what was it like for your first fire? And then again, trying to tell your parents, like, for us, we get it, but when you have a family that doesn't understand that, like, how do you explain to them, especially cultures being a little bit different? Like, hey, I just had my first fire. I did this or I did that. Did they understand like why you loved it so much and what you were doing and the service you provided?
Yeah, I was living with my wife at the time. And yeah, I used to see them here and there, but
Hmm.
my first fire, I one of the things that I did since the beginning was not to take the job home with me.
Yeah.
I remember the old guys during those 2 years prior to the academy and even after. I listened. That was one of the best thing I did was get on when I did, because the old guys, I still have, I grew up with the old mentality, you know. Unfortunately now the fire, I would say maybe Lawrence, it's kind of deviating a little bit. It's more like, you little group, little niche and things like that. But back in the days, like the fire, the fire department was a brotherhood.
Mm,
Like here in Lawrence, like you had a cookout. It was a family cookout. It didn't matter what group you were on, what truck you were on. It did not matter. It was just a family. And your son is my nephew, and my daughter is your niece, and that's how I was raised in those days. And I listened to every single thing that the old guys used to say to me. And I remember them every time we went to like a hard call, whether it was an overdose or suicide or whatever. Um, we used to go to the kitchen and they used to put it, say, okay, let's talk about it. How you feel about it? What do you think about it? Like, you okay? Sorry about that. You okay? And I'm like,
mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I learned to leave the job at work and not bring it home.
Yeah,
So it was only when something happened with like a young uh person, maybe a kid, an infant or something like that. I used to come and bring it to the house, but not with the detail that it happens. Oh, we had
sure.
a fatality with a young driver. There was a guy that was driving, and I used to tell just my daughter that so she can, understand the dangers of what was going on with young people at that time. So, but that was it. Like I never took my job home, and I think that was one of the best thing that ever happened to me. Just divide, make sure that the job stays at the work and home is home. Like separate those two. That helped me so much because mental wise, I tell you, man, it was amazing. I don't think I ever saw an old guy uh having a bad day, like a mental breakdown. Like I never did.
Yeah.
If it happened like in secret or on their own, but I never saw that. And those were the things that I was looking for. I wanted to be like not the best firefighter, but I wanted to be a good firefighter. I wanted to have a great career because I enjoy the job. I love the job. I still love the job. So I listen a lot to what the old guy said. Even still, like I I get together every retirement. Like I get along so much better with the old guys than with the new guys.
Well,
You
because
know?
not to sound shitty, but you are the old guy now.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
Exactly.
now you're in the
Exactly.
position to tell the young bucks how it was and how it should be, and
Hey,
and now that you've learned from when you were the young buck, and you're passing on that message, and it's really cool. Isn't it amazing? Like you don't even realize it till all of a sudden one day you go, "Oh shit, I'm the old
yeah.
guy now." And
Yes.
so now
Yes.
they're talking about me like, "Oh yeah, Miguel or Michael, that's the older guy over there. Like
Uh,
he knows how
yeah.
to do this, he knows how to do that." So you're the senior man, and you got 20 some years on, so now you're the old guy.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it is. We have in my truck, we have a brand new guy. He's a great prospect, man. He's good. He likes the job. He wants to learn. He's eager. He's really good. He reminds me of me on a lot of things. And I do the same exact thing that I used to do with the old guys. We go to a call that is nasty bad. We sit down in the kitchen. I'm like, hey Cole, talk to me. Like how
Yeah.
do you think it went? How you feel? You okay with that? And I tell them the same thing, like the job is a job, home is home. Don't take the job home. Learn how to, divide it. So I tell them exactly the same thing that I was taught, and I can see him doing well with that. Like we had a few calls that do require like, okay, we got to sit down now. Like, what do you think about that? and we kind of debrief and make sure that he's okay, and not to take that home, So yeah, that's my thing now. I am the old guy. I'm the guy that is passing the knowledge.
Hmm. So I love that you brought that up too, and I think it's super important. Is the barbecues, the parties, that you said, your uncle, you're called an uncle, you're called an auntie, you're called, that those names of respect, and those names that, it means your family. And I think it's gone away a little bit in this generation, in our age. And I'd love to see it come back. I feel like it's trying to get a resurgence. I
Yeah,
feel that it's people are seeing it, but you're right. I really do. Like, you look at the pictures, you look at the old school videos back in the 80s, and that was a whole different environment. That was definitely a different culture back then, where it was like, it was a family event. It was a family business where, I mean, people were over each other's homes all the time, every day, and everybody knew everyone, and they knew, where to find each other, because, one, you didn't have cell phones, so you had to go over people's homes, and that's where you would find them, right? You'd go over each
yeah,
other's houses,
yeah.
because you couldn't just
No,
text each other. You'd have to go over and hang out, because
right.
there's no other way to be in contact with them. And not that I'm not pissing on technology. I think it's an important thing that we have, but I think it takes some of that um that feeling away from it. That it's easy now. I can just pick up my phone and I can text you, "Hey, Miguel, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm good." But back in
Yeah,
the day, it'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh, nothing, hanging out." "All right,
yeah,
I'm going to come over because I can't talk. I don't want to talk to you on the phone anymore." So, because
exactly.
I don't like talking on the phone. I am one of those people. I'd rather talk to you in person, right?
I'm the same
So
way. I'm the same way.
yeah. So I think we've definitely lost that. Like, man, when I first joined the fire service, man, I loved the barbecues. I loved the cookouts, and they've definitely have fizzled out. Man, fire musters were a really cool thing back in the day. I loved going to musters. I was such a great way to bring camaraderie and families together. You'd have beers, you'd drink, you'd have a cookout with it.
Yeah,
It's definitely fizzled out, but I think people are trying to bring it back. And when you still have people like yourself and me that like understand and remember those good old days, if we can try to get those back, and hopefully people see, the young bucks can see, like, hey, we can all do things together. And I see it. I do see the departments that are doing that with together. And I see pictures online. I love seeing guys getting together with their family events, whether they're going fishing together, they're going camping together, they're making an effort. And it's not just union events. And I think sometimes it's different, right? Like, you have your union events, and those are good, but those kind of like, I have to go because my
yeah,
union wants me to represent.
yeah,
And it's fun, but it's like not a like, hey, brother, I got a cookout going on. Want to just come over and hang out for a little bit?
yeah.
You
It's
know,
not the
it's
same. Of course,
it's
it's
not
not
the
the
same,
same.
right? There's
No,
a goal to the union events.
right.
At a family event, the goal is just to have fun and just hang out and have a cookout. So
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that you brought that up. So where are you housed right now out of your department?
I am on engine 9. I'm on a pump. When I
Okay.
started, I remember the old guy saying, "Listen, try every truck because you don't know what you're gonna like. Especially me. I have no background. I didn't know anything about.
Right.
So I tried everything. I went to the rescue. I went to the ladder truck. I went to the pump. I went to every single house and every apparatus at least for 2 cycles. And I knew that I was a pump guy. I wanted to be in there. I knew that I wanted that I want the action. I want to be inside with, I wanted that. So, and I wanted to be busy. So I got to the truck that went to every call. I got a Central. I stayed at Central for like 12 years, I think, at the beginning.
Wow.
And yeah, I did. The first 2 years, I, jump around just to make, just to have a feel for every truck. And the pump was definitely my truck and my calling. I like the ladder. I like the ladder. I had a little fun, like a bunch of fires on the ladder, but the pump definitely was my truck. I,
What
I
do you
like I
so
like the business.
are you a driver of the pump, or do you still sit tailboard?
No, that's the thing. See, when I had my accident and I made the choice of coming back, my thing was I gotta get ready. I have to show these people that I can do the job, that they can count on me, that just because I'm an amputee, I'm not gonna be slacking and things like that. So that was my focus. And I'm not when I got back, the first thing I told the guys, listen, I'm not handicapped, nor am I disabled. So I'm normal. You treat me like a normal firefighter. I do exactly the same thing that everybody does.
But before your accident, were you a driver or were you a tailboarder for your piece?
Uh but we don't
You
have
switch?
we switch every month.
Okay.
We switch. Now that's for whatever reason. That's another thing. For another reason, there's a lot of new guys that don't like to drive.
Mm,
They don't like to drive. They feel, I don't know if it's fear because of the truck, how big, how heavy. I don't know, but most of them don't like to drive. And with my in my group, every time I go to work, everybody's like, "You want to drive?" I'm like, "No, I'm on the back today." And I say, "If you don't want to drive, I don't mind driving." Obviously, because I don't mind putting my shit on all the time whenever we have to go out, but it's like my doctor says, like, Miguel, you have to understand that you being a fireman, you got to work a little harder than everybody else.
yeah.
Like just by you being an amputee and all the stuff you have, you're gonna have to do the work a little bit harder than everybody else. And I say, yeah, also, that's fine. And I tell the guys, I'm normal. Treat me normal. And thank God, Michael, I haven't had an issue whatsoever so far. I've been inside a fire. I've been carrying people down the stairs. I've done everything so far. And I do a normal. I
Yeah.
do a normal.
So
So
now that we're talking about that, so let's get into that, because that's kind of what we're kind of here for. And I want people to understand what you overcame and what you've accomplished. So, I mean, the fact also, like, let's just go right back to the beginning.
yeah.
You got your family came from Dominican Republic. You're 14 years old. You had to learn English. Now then you joined the fire department, not knowing anything or anyone, no bias going on, no favors, like literally just said, I want to do it. You applied, you got it. You've been doing a job now for a while. And then, so as you've been on Lawrence for quite some time, how long, first off, were you on the job before you got to your accident?
I was 22 years on the job. I
22
was
years
on
on the job.
I was 22
Okay.
years on the job. Yeah.
So take me to that day for your accident.
Listen, that's one of the things I tell the guys too now. I don't know what would have happened to me if I wasn't on the fire department. I don't know how my life would have turned out if this would happen me at another job. But I am so thankful that the brotherhood that we have is so tight in that way, and that's what I tell guys, this is a brotherhood and people look
Mm,
after each other in this job, and that's how it is. You don't, regardless whether it is with your family, with anything. And I'm so blessed because the support that I had from my department was amazing, with the exception with one person. And of course, the guys having that bets of, yeah, he's not coming back, he's not gonna make it, and with reason, obviously, with their own reason. But when I got back, I remember one of the deputy telling me, Miguel, listen, I'm sorry. You proved me wrong. I was one of the guys that was actually betting that you weren't coming back. But I'm glad you did. I'm glad you're here. And like my captain said, like, I'd rather take Miguel with one leg than
mhm.
any other guys with two legs because he knows how I am.
So,
So
tell us about, when did this happen? How did it happen? What did you have going on that day?
that day, it was a beautiful August 6th of 21. It was a beautiful 78-degree day. It was gorgeous. I took my motorcycle, I had a Ducati Diablo, 2017. And funny thing is that I used to landscape. I used to have a small lawn care business, and my captain, I told him, I'm like, listen, I need to buy a trailer, like a dump trailer, but I'm thinking of buying a motorcycle because I'm undecided because I really want to enjoy life a little bit. And he's like, listen, buy the trailer. Don't buy the motorcycle. He said, he's against motorcycle. He's 100% against motorcycle. So, and I say, and I was debating back and forth, and I say, all right, I'll buy the trailer. And then one day, I saw on Facebook the motorcycle. It was a state police that was selling it. Brand freaking new, man. 2000, 2015. I mean, when I tell you it was brand, you had 1,000 miles. It was the state police that was selling it, and the money was perfect. I said, I'm getting it. So I showed up the next day with a motorcycle. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You fucking stupid. And you know how a captain talked to you. So, and I'm like, yeah. So that day I took the bike. I went to New Hampshire. I used to live in New Hampshire at that time when I was married. I wasn't married. I mean, I was separated for like 6 years at that time. But we were very good friends. So I just took it for a ride. It was 11:45 at night, and I used to drive this road. I don't know if you know, in Salem, New Hampshire, it's called Hampstead Road, and it's
Oh yeah.
yeah. So before the dump, that from 97 to, I think it's Clough, the little bend there. So I used to take that all the time, and like always, I used to book it. Just take off from 97, book it, slow, fast enough to just take the curve. And that night, I don't know what was. I never. That was one of the things that I said that I never was gonna drink or do anything if I was on the motorcycle. And that night it was just cool. It was just a night that I was going for a ride. And I remember texting my wife. She goes, "What are you doing?" It was like 11. I was like, "Oh, I'm just going for a ride." She goes, "Like, come by. You know, we're here. My daughter and I are here. Just come by." And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll drive by." So I just went and I took off from that point on 97. And I normally book it and then slow fast enough to take that turn. But that day I did it. I don't know what was that. I wasn't thinking of anything. It was nothing in my head. It was just that I just I was too comfortable and I was too fast. And by the time I realized that the bend was coming, I was coming too fast. So I applied on the brake as hard as I could, and I shipped down as fast as I could, trying to see if I could slow it down. And when I looked down, I was doing 90. And it was at that time the bike started shaking. The more that I applied on the brake, the more it shook and
Yeah.
jumped. So I didn't know what was going on. Now I know it was the ABS at the time, and I was thinking like, I'm gonna lock it and I'm gonna just dump it and I get a few scratches. I had a heavy jacket and I didn't. I lost control. I hit a rock on the side of the road that catapulted me to the woods. Now this is 11:45 at night, and if you know that road is dark as
Yeah.
fuck, man. There's no lights. And when I tell you that I'm here because of God, man, and I mean it. I hit the rock. It catapulted me to the woods. I hit a bunch of trees. The bike went left, and I was in the woods. And probably 3 minutes later, a a driver saw the motorcycle on the side of the road and called it in. He walked to the woods and he found me. And I remember trying to move, but I couldn't. I remember trying to breathe, but I couldn't. And the only thing I was thinking was my next breath, my next breath. That's the only thing that was in my head because I couldn't breathe. I was
Mm.
and I couldn't move. I was trying to move and I couldn't. And I remember him saying, "Don't move. The ambulance is coming." So I remember blinking and being introduced into the back of an ambulance. And I remember telling the guys, he said, "Look, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Why? I really don't know. I figure, I woke these guys up to come and pick me up. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry." So they said that I told them all my chief complaints. I don't remember but um, I remember talking to them and saying, and then telling me like, "Listen, we thought you were never gonna make it. We honestly thought you're never gonna make it. You thought you were done." And yeah, and then the helicopter picked me up right there. I remember blinking, and I had no feeling whatsoever, man, no pain, nothing.
Was the helicopter landing on the road, or were you at the hospital?
No, the helicopter landed, yeah, on 97, right in the corner of
Wow.
97, probably like a quarter mile away from where I was.
Hmm.
I got my injuries, everything that I had. I mean, I was a mess. So they took me to Leahy because that was the closest hospital for my injuries that I have in Burlington. And I woke up 3 weeks later. I remember getting into the helicopter and asking the medic, "Hey, how's my leg? How's my leg?" And he said, "Don't worry about your leg. I'm gonna put your headphones so you don't hear the sound of the propeller, and I'm gonna give you something to relax." And the reason why I was saying that is because I felt like a swarm of ants eating away at my leg,
Oh.
and that was the only thing I was feeling. And then then I passed out and I woke up 3 weeks later. When I woke
Wow.
up, I'm like, how long have I been here? 3 days? And my wife at the time was like, no, you've been here 3 weeks. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I tell you, Mike, you buddy might be here, but I was traveling, man. I went to so many different places, man. I went to dark places, ugly places, places where wars were going on, killing, dismembering. I only thing I could picture is like I'm in the gate of hell, like I'm in the door to hell. Like this is
So
the
these were like
war.
dreams?
Yeah, this is episodes or movies that I was being, and I tell you, I'm there. Like just like I'm talking to you, I couldn't see myself, but I could just see forward. I can just see just from the front, and I tell you, everything was vividly. I felt so scared. I was so afraid
Mhm.
in these places, and that happened like maybe 2 or 3 times. And then other places where people were taking care of me, like I'm in the back of an ambulance and people were taking care of me. And I remember one time one person was taking care of me, how I was on the back of a motorcycle and we parked at a park in a fountain, and she was on the phone trying to find out what kind of insurance I had in my motorcycle, whether it was Geico or Progressive. And when I woke up from the coma, I told my family that was in the room the story. And my wife at the time said, that was me. I had that conversation. I was calling the insurance exactly as you describe it,
Wow.
but I wasn't at the hospital. I was at home. And that was weird. And let me tell you, Mike, three times, three times I went to the same place. Now, this is the only time I visit 3 times the same place. Every other spot, it was just once here, one there. But this time I went 3 times to the same place where there was a dark wall of dark smoke. It was a wall of dark smoke, and I couldn't pass. I couldn't go through. There was a podium in the middle and a huge fluorescent blue lion's head sticking out of it. And I wasn't afraid. I wasn't scared. I didn't ask where I am, what happened. The only thing that came out of my mouth was, I want to talk to God because I want to stay here. Because He was so peaceful. I
Hmm.
felt an immense peace. I was here and I want to stay here. Oh, I felt peaceful. And an old voice told me, you can't talk to God because you're going back. And that happened. It was like Groundhog Day, blank, 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 3 times. Whether it was the same day 3 times or 3 different days, I don't know. But I went to the same exact scenario, same thing, same everything. Oh, I want to talk to God because I want to stay. And nope, you can't talk to God because you're going back. And the third time, they say you can't talk to God because you're going back to your family. So at that time, I say, if they don't want me here, fuck it, let's go back and fight. And all of a sudden, like, I woke up. Now, when I woke up, they told me that that when I got to the hospital, all my injuries were the least of my worries. Oh, their worries when I got to the hospital. Now, I had 11 broken ribs. I have a split pelvis, my right leg amputated on impact. I had my right hip bolted. Um, my pancreas, my liver, my kidneys, my bladder, they were all damaged. I had an internal bleed. The doctor could not stop in those 3 weeks. 61 pints of blood after. They gave me 61 pints of blood. And there was nothing that they could do for me. I mean, I coded 6 times in those 3 weeks.
Wow.
So the fire department was like, yeah, no, he's not doing great today. He's not doing good. I think we lost him. I think we're gonna lose him. I think it was like, and my family was getting ready for the funeral. They were all starting to, prepare for funeral. Um, and I remember my daughter and my son at the time touching my head, and because I could hear everything going on in the room where I was in that coma, but I couldn't wake up or
Yeah.
talk. And I remember my daughter and my son saying, "Dad, we're gonna be okay. It's okay. You're fine. Don't worry about it. We are gonna be fine." And I knew they were saying their goodbyes. Um, and then yeah, and then I woke up and they tell me all the stuff that happened. But the doctor said, you know, when you got here, your injuries were the least of our worries because we found a blood clot near my heart. They had nothing to do with the accident.
Wow.
That if they wouldn't found it within that week or a few weeks after, a heart attack would have been imminent.
Wow.
And as soon as I woke up, it was like, this is a blessing. I'm here for a reason. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but I'm here for a reason, you know. And throughout the whole time, Michael, even up to now, I haven't had any kind of pain. Everything have worked out on my behalf. Everything has worked out for me. I'm so thankful. I mean, I did talk to God a lot.
Yeah.
I spent 5 months in the hospital, and I asked for privacy. I just talked to my captain and my wife at the time, and all I asked was for privacy, and all I did was pray, meditate, and concentrated on my injuries. And I remember telling the captain, "I'm coming back." The captain is, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, sure, okay, yeah." I mean, I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I was all bandaged, and my hip was split. I was all big. I could not move anything. And here I am. I'm coming back to the fire department, not knowing but I had that. I had the vision. I'm like, I saw myself like getting into the truck, putting all the stuff. Like I'm coming back. I don't know
Mm.
when wasn't my goal. That was not up to me. The when wasn't up to me. What was up to me was to do the work and to get ready for it. So I started, praying, meditating, concentrating in my injuries, and that was every single time I had off. I remember going to the rehab place, and I tell ya, at the rehab place, same thing. Everybody was so upbeat because I was there. I knew I was there to work my ass off. So I had that in my mind. I'm like, I'm here to work my ass off, and that's exactly what I did. Everything they wanted me to do, I tried to do it a little. I tried to push myself a little more, a little more, a little more. And everybody that heard my story, that knew how I was and who I was, it was like, holy shit, like, how is this guy like this? Like, how? And I was like saying again, I was upbeat. I was always positive. I was eager. I was like, okay, let's do this. And yeah, and all of a sudden, even that, the time wise, it wasn't up to me, but I knew I was coming back. And even that, a year and 4 months, I got back to the truck.
A year and
So
4 months, and you were back on the truck.
a year and 4 months, I was back to the truck. I
Ooh,
tell you,
man.
Mike, I had no pain. And another thing the doctor did to me was that my amputation is a reconstruction. All I had was a 4.5 inches below my knee, and that's exactly what you need to be amputated below the knee. Another half inch, they would have to go above the knee. But the motorcycle took my leg right at 4.5 inches. So, and it was just the bones, so they had to take and patch muscles and grab skin graft from my thighs and wrap it around. But the doctor asked me, he goes like, Miguel, there's a new procedure that they doing to the military guys and is that they fusing the nerves instead of cutting it. But eventually that's something's coming up technology wise that is going to be better. Will you like that? And I say, doctor, I trust you. Do what you think is the best for me. And I told that to every doctor. I got my trust in you. Do what you think is the best for me. I trust you. And they did it, Michael. And I tell you, it's the best thing that ever happened. I tell every amputee the same thing because, in a way, it sucks. Not for me, for a lot of amputees, because the phantom pains are fucking horrible, man.
Yeah.
Those phantom pains, they hurt and they horrible and they frequent. So you have to take neural pain medication to
Mm.
numb that shit. I don't have to take none of that shit. I don't take any medication. Like, I still have movement on my toes, let's say. Like I can think of, okay, let me wiggle my toes, and I wiggle my toes, but I have no phantom pains whatsoever. Maybe one or
Wow.
two a month, but nothing, very vague. Yeah, so even that worked out on my behalf. So,
Wow.
and yeah, and not everybody was upbeat of me coming back to the fire department. I understand that to a lot of people was a liability issue,
Gotcha.
and including to the higher ranks. And it was a conversation. I remember having a conversation when I came back and gave my light duty note of, don't tell me you're coming back to the truck. Yes, I am. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, what do you mean? Like, I never seen an amputee as a firefighter. Like, well, I'll be the first one. He's like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen while I'm in charge. And I'm like, well, we'll see. He's like, well, I just don't know what's the procedure. I'm like, well, find out because I'm coming back. So that's how the conversation went. And yeah, and but that
Wow,
gave
dude.
me that gave me um the chance to say, you know what, people don't want me back, screw that. I'm gonna do anything I can to come back. And yeah, man,
Prove them wrong. Yeah,
through
absolutely.
exactly. I use
Prove
that
those
as
people
fuel, man.
wrong. Yeah,
Absolutely.
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 Man, what a story. Man, and a year later, you're back on that truck, dude. That is so amazing that you just had that determination to say, nope, I'm not gonna let it defeat me. You used that same energy from your stories that you were telling me, that energy you had when you started the academy. You had that same energy and passion and drive in your rehabilitation when you lost your leg. And you had that same drive, like, nope, I'm gonna do this. There's no quitting me. So you did the same. You had to say. I imagine you were probably. I can only imagine what you're like in rehab with those nurses. I can only imagine the humor and the shit that you probably said when you were going through your rehab and learning to walk again. And you just had that. I'm sure it was the same thing back at the academy, and that you were the class clown, and you made it back. You used humor as that medicine to make yourself better and to drive yourself forward. And you said you really found a love for God and faith. You said earlier. So um, tell me a bit about that.
Well, that's this motorcycle accident changed my life. And what changed, the first thing that changed for me was the relationship with God. Like I I am so faithful. One of the things that I said in my prayers was, if you let me alive, it's for a reason. I don't know which one is yet, but I will do whatever you want me to do. And from this point on, I'm not gonna look at anything in a negative way. So whatever happens to me, I will look to the positive side of it. And and that's it. I started just looking at everything in a positive way. So the nurses used to come in and just come in and say hi to me every day, and they're like, "Oh, I wish I have you today, but I don't have you," because that was easy to take care of. Like they
Yeah.
told me, when you go to a rehab, you're gonna see people depressed, down, in bad mood, all this stuff. But me, I was the other way, man. I was eager. I was, joking. I was happy. I started making joke of my own leg. Like I was one of the things that I did. Like I used my leg and I started making crappy jokes. Like, now I wake up, every day I wake up on my left side or with my left leg or something like that. Like I always
You
use
get off on the wrong
my
foot.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So, and things like that. Like, I bet you a leg on that or something. Like I remember my captain sent me um, a picture of the dummy. We have a dummy, and it was missing the right leg. And he's like, "Where the fuck do you put this leg? I bring it back. We want it back." It was so funny, man. And shit like that. So yeah, I use humor for that. And definitely God. Michael, it's amazing because every single thing that I have asked God after the accident, it has come to pass exactly how
Mm,
I ask. And again, time wise, I don't concentrate on time wise. I just
yeah.
concentrate and focus on the task, and the time is up to him. And I tell you, Michael, it always come to pass, and I am so grateful for that. And that's why I'm doing and trying to inspire people, trying to let people know that whatever happens to you, it's not a downfall, man. There's a positive side of it. I'm a peer support for Hanger Clinic. When they saw me and they saw how I was and things like that, they like, listen, do you mind talking to people, that they go to the hospital have? And I'm
Mm.
absolutely, I have no problem. And it's the same thing. Every time I go talk to someone, it's the same thing. They're depressed, they feel like shit, they down. Um, as soon as I tell them my story and who I am, and like they come, really, man? I'm like, yeah, man. Like this is not the end, man. This is the beginning. For you, it could be one day or day one. And that's how I thought about it. Okay, this is day one. Let's start. Like my life changed and I loved it because it changed in a positive way, in a good way. Um, so yeah, I do that, and I'm also talking to a couple of actually three firefighters. They have lost limbs, and they want to come back. So one of them is a volunteer from Montana, which she already made it back like a month and a
Nice.
half ago. Yeah, and another one is from Arizona. He's still getting his leg. He's not 100% there, but his attitude is really good. He's upbeat. He wants to do it. He's like, he's the only person so far that I have talked to that it's upbeat with it with his amputation. He's taking it in a positive way and things like that. So, which is the main thing, like once you have your head in a positive way about it, it's like everything is easier. And
I
that's how
love
it is.
that.
Everything is easier. And to me, people say, "Hey, how hard it was to come back?" I'm like, it was actually easy. It wasn't that bad. Why? Because I was focused about it. I loved it. I wanted to do it. The same energy that I had doing any type of workout, I was putting in the same thing, doing the workout with my leg and things like that. Same thing with my arm. My arm was reconstructed. Like, this is how much I can bend it. I cannot go this much, but I can go this. But 2 years ago, I could only do this. I could not move more than that. So yeah, I had to use a machine that had to constrict it and straighten it. And it was like half an hour in the day, half in the morning, half an hour in the afternoon. And he sucked because he hurt. And I
Yeah,
have full
man.
surgery. I have full surgery on my elbow. But again, I can touch my head. I can do everything. There's nothing I cannot do. And that's what I tell people. There's nothing that I cannot do. I'm a normal person. I can do absolutely everything.
I love
With
it, dude.
more cautious, absolutely. Like, I think now it's even that changed for me, because I used to be gun ho. Now I pay attention to everything I do, where I'm gonna step, what I do, how I'm gonna grab something, and all that stuff. Or I'm a proactive person. I look at something and I try to figure it out before I get to that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it has changed my life amazingly, man. It's for the better.
That's great, dude. I absolutely love that, man. What a story. What an absolute comeback story, of just drive and determination and not giving up. And I found you did, of course, the news were all over it and picked it up and wanted to know everything about you. And so I saw a where is it here? Right here. So we're going to share this little blip about you here. And they did a story on you.
Yeah.
Who doesn't live and breathe being on the job.
There's one in particular in the Merrimack Valley who was determined to return to work after suffering a life-altering loss. Boston 25 News reporter Jim Morelli has his story.
Disabled. Technically, that word applies to Miguel Baez if he would let it.
There's nothing he can't do. Just a regular firefighter. He keeps telling me I'm not handicapped. I'm not disabled.
Miguel Baez, with one leg missing, is back on the job as a Lawrence firefighter.
Firefighting is the best job in the world.
But it's a job Miguel easily could have lost. 2 years ago, he was thrown from his motorcycle late at night in rural New Hampshire.
I hit a rock on the side of the road, and that rock kind of pulled me to the woods, and I ended up hitting a bunch of trees.
It was close to midnight.
When I woke up, when I opened my eyes, I noticed that I couldn't breathe. I was barely breathing.
Doctors later found 11 cracked ribs in Miguel's chest and numerous other injuries. Miguel survived the crash, called that the first miracle. The second, despite the late hour and remote location, someone drove by and saw a motorcycle by the side of the road, but no operator, and called 911. Miguel was airlifted to Leahy Hospital in Burlington.
At one point, the doctor told my family there was nothing they could do for me. And my family actually was getting ready to say their goodbyes.
But after 3 weeks in a coma, Miguel woke up. Leg gone, but determination intact. Miguel spent the next 10 months focused on returning to the job he loved. At first, his boss was a bit skeptical.
And then I thought, with such devastating injuries, how is he going to make it back to his job, which is very physically demanding? It's a tough job.
Well, he made it back. And Tuesday, the mayor and other city officials came out to officially recognize that fact.
You guys made it so much easier for me to come back.
Miguel says he's not much of a camera guy and didn't want all this attention. But then he thought about the other amputees out there waiting to hear it's not over. That disabled is a state of mind as much as it is a physical state. That every day alive, leg or no leg, can still be seen as a blessing. In Lawrence, Jim Morelli for your local station, Boston 25.
That's incredible, man. It's a great story. It's just, I'm so glad that you're still here to be able to tell it, and that you tell it so well. You tell it with so much passion to inspire others. And you got to go to the Explorer Academy, and that's where we met. and you really helped those kids to understand that, you know, your physical traits will not define you, that, you know, your body will continue on, your mind can make you do incredible things. And I'm quoting a good friend of mine, Raymond Dorville, who really can amp people up. And the fact that you embody what he talks about, that your mind will make you do incredible things. And when you feel like you're going to give up, just keep pushing. And that's what you did, man. And it's so incredible to see. And I love that you're still going with it, that you're inspiring others and letting them know, like, hey, I'm not done yet. I still got so much more life into me, and I want to give back. And I love the fire service. And so when you got back to your department, how was the rest of the crew? Like, how were they treating you? Did it feel weird? Did you feel like they were like kind of treating you, you know, special? Were you trying to like let them know, like, hey, I'm still Miguel, and like let's go to work. Like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm gonna get this done.
Yeah, I think at the beginning, that was the expectation. The expectation was to, okay, let's give let him take it easy. Let's give him the easy stuff. Let's just not, And again, I remember every time I came to work, you want to drive? I'm like, no, man, no, I don't want to drive. I want to be on the back. I want to do my normal shit. Like I can climb ladders because I can do everything. So that was one of my thing. And no, I'm normal, and I used to tell that to everybody. I'm fucking normal. I'm the same guy that left. If you see me with my pants on, you will not know that I'm an amputee. So just treat me as a fucking normal person. And then they kind of catch on, stuff like that, and yeah, and then they like, oh fuck, man. And then they saw me, playing basketball, playing volleyball, doing all this shit that we all do, and they like, fuck, man, you're amazing. And I don't do it because I want people to tell me that. I really don't. I do it because I feel like when I want to do it. I don't feel that this is a disability. I just live my life normal. Yes, before all this happened, I used to see an amputee, and the first thing in my mind was like, oh, that person is disabled, he's done, he can't do shit. It's a normal thought. But
Yeah.
me, after becoming an amputee and stuff like that, it's like, no, man, it's completely different. That taboo it's completely wrong. You know, no, you definitely can do whatever you want. I have a friend of mine that I met, and that's another thing. This thing have made me know a lot of people. Like I have known a lot of people, including a double amputee that runs the Boston Marathon. We became really good friend. He actually has the world record for by the double amputee Boston Marathon. And he lives in Florida, and we chat all the time. And I remember sitting down with him and talking, and we had pretty much the same feelings when we wanted to do this. Like he wanted to continue do the marathon, and I want to continue firefighting. And our thoughts, our mind engage the same exact way. You know how they say that, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So, and that was one of the things. I'm like, there's nothing that I cannot do. I'm normal. I can do everything normal. And that's what I do. When I walk, I walk normal. I don't think like I don't hobble because I'm an amputee. I just walk normal. I figure
Yeah.
let's try to do the normal thing. I don't push it. It automatically happens. So to me, in my mind, yeah, I have an amputation, but there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me.
I know that, man. I love it, man. What a drive, what a personality. And I just, again, like the fact that you had not just the amputation, but you were in a coma for 3 weeks and having to go through all that physical rehab of literally having your body come back again and, get your strength back and get all your abilities back and your mental facilities. And it's just shows you how determined you are and how much you love the job. Now, we talk about mental health a lot in the fire service. How does that affect you? Was there any kind of issues with that? Did you suffer any major depressions, and did you have to go to therapy for any of that?
Well, see, mental health wise, I was going through a tough time prior to the accident. Probably like 2014, I was in a really, really hard time, depressed wise. I had family issues that really got my mind, and
Mm.
I was lucky enough that I used what is it, EAP. Like I contacted people because to talk to, because I wanted to get out of it. My mind was going crazy. And I remember talking to um the firefighter that is running for mayor now. Fucking amazing person, man. He is an amazing
I
person.
actually reached out to him because I like to get him on the show as well. He hasn't answered me back, but
I can talk to him. He's
yeah, that'd
very
be
close.
great.
I'm very close with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Now I'll talk to him. So I remember going through this a tough time, and I remember I was going to make a bad choice. We have a few guys that I work with that have made bad choices, like
Yeah.
really bad choices, and I was heading that way. And my choice was either gonna have me killed or I was gonna be in jail. That was the only two options out of it. And my mind was fucking going nuts. And I remember, and I told him, I say, hey, can I talk to you? I need somebody to talk to. And he goes, he felt it right away. He goes, sure, let's go. We sat down outside on a bench in front of the firehouse, and I told him what I was thinking and what was going on with me. And he told me a story similar to something that I was gonna do and why he did and why he is who he is today. And I said, yeah, okay, this is good. This is good. I need to change my life. I need to do something about it. And that day, I made the decision that I needed to change the way I was thinking. I needed all these thoughts to go away, all this crazy negative habitual thoughts that I was having. I need them to go away, how they were making me feel, how I was listening to other people that, and believing the things, the lies that other people were saying. So I decided that day, I remember it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still awake, and I grabbed my computer and I went on Google and I started how to beat depression. And from that point on, I started I not blocked, but I kind of delete every negative things out of my, people, everything. I try to delete
Yeah.
as much as I could out of my life. And I started going through YouTube and all these things, how they were, everything, all that motivational talk and all this stuff. And I started writing things down. I started writing things down because I knew I wanted my head to be straight. I did not want those thoughts and I didn't want to feel how I was feeling. So he gave me that. And from that point, I started reading, journaling, meditating, praying. I started doing everything that was good for me. I remember I used to go to work, fire department, landscaping, and then to my apartment. And all I did was just the same thing, read, meditate, uh, everything that I wanted to change in me, in my life that was going on, I wrote it down. And then I started looking for
Nice.
things on how to beat everything. And it took me a long time because that was like in 2014. So the accident came along and I remember when I started meditating, I used to tell my daughter, my son, I'm going to my room, 30 minutes. I need to be alone for 30 minutes. Please leave me alone. And my son used to make fun of me. He's like, oh, Buddha time. It comes Buddha. So, and I did. I started then. And I believe that all that, when the accident happened, helped me a lot. It helped
Yeah.
me a lot for my head because I was already had a leeway. So it was easier for me to concentrate on my injuries and everything that I wanted to do and focus in my future and what I wanted to do, the vision that I had of coming back to the truck. It was easier for me to focus and have nothing disturb my peace, but just concentrated on it. And I think we do right now. That's one of the things that I tell the guys right now. I do a little bit of motivational slash mental health awareness. And the thing is that we have probably 80,000 thoughts a day, and they're all habitual. We have no control over them, and 80% of those are negative. So it's normal that we act negative, that we think
Yeah.
negative, that we do all the stuff negative. But to do something positive, to think positive, you have to force yourself for it. So I knew that and I started doing that. And it came to a point that it was amazing when I could be in control of myself.
Yeah.
My thoughts, myself, my everything that what I wanted to do it, I could focus on it and just go for it. So I think that helped me a lot. And yeah, prior to the accident, I was dealing with, problems at home, divorce, kids problem, uh, things on the job, that tough times that the calls that you go through the job, like all this stuff
Yeah.
was eating me alive. Um, and I started doing that. I started working on me, and I believe that helped a lot, of taking my time for
That's
me to develop me.
that's amazing to be that self-aware of yourself and realize like, hey, I'm not doing well. And that nobody else came to you and said, hey man, there's something going on. Like you felt it, you could see it within yourself. And not many people have that ability to be that self-aware and to do self-reflection and to realize like, hey, I'm not in a good spot right now. I need to take care of me. And you then also studied up on how to get yourself help and how to find different ways, meditation, quiet time, self-reflection, reading, like all those things are very good things to do. And the fact that you did that, that's really, really cool. So man, you're an inspiration, my friend.
Thank you.
It is so cool to learn about you. And I hope everyone listening or watching gets something out of this, that you can overcome adversity. It takes some work. And like you said, honestly,
Absolutely.
too, like, our thoughts that go on in our heads, like I go through dark times as well. I can't help it. It just happens. And,
Yeah.
like you said, it's habitual. It creeps in your brain. And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I'm in a
Yep.
negative headspace right now. It takes more effort to really have the good thoughts, the positive thoughts. And that's that self-reflection of remembering what you have in your life, the good things in life, whether it's your wife, your kids, your dog, your cat, the job, where you live, like whatever you have something good in your life, reflect upon that, and it's going to make you feel better. But we have a habit of dwelling on the negative so often, and also with technology, again, we do the doom scrolling. We're scrolling, and maybe we find something that gives us happiness for that 5 seconds. We get that little rush, and we're like, oh well, that's over. What's next? And that helps, and that puts us into that dark space again. So the phone is not going to make you feel better. You're not going to find joy in the palm of your hand holding your iPhone or Android, whatever you got. You have to seek it. You have to remember what's good in this world. And like you doing, Miguel, of actually meditating and reading some good books or seeking therapy, those are the things that really need to be done to really help your mental state. And I love that you're able to have been able to find that for yourself and understand that. That's key, man. That's really, really cool.
Thank you. That's one of the things that I tell the kids when I go to talk to school. I let them know that, yeah, you're gonna go through a tough time, and it's not gonna be easy. It's possible. It's not gonna be easy for the journey you have to take to change yourself, or to become better on thinking and doing things. Because it's the thing about the cell phone, for instance. I tell them it's like when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling down, when you're having a bad day, you grab your phone and then you go search for whatever to make you happy. Yeah. Haha, that's mechanical happiness. That's just a little dopamine rush that goes to your head, and
Exactly.
then yeah, you feel good. But as soon as you put the phone down, you go back to the same spot where you were, you know? And that's the thing. That's where you have to do the work. That's where you need to do the work. You have to understand that this is mechanical. You can have it in the palm of your hand, and that's why everybody's like, haha, feeling so happy while you on with the phone. But as soon as you let it go, you go back to the same thing. People have, and I tell people have no idea how privileged is to be alone and thinking and just think, because we don't think anymore. We that part of it, it's gone. Like that thought pattern is gone. We have everything that is built to capture our attention. Everything, TV, phone, social media, like it's everything. The little lights on your phone, the little ding, bing, all the stuff is just capturing our attention. And I tell, like me myself, I'm detached from my phone. I learned that a while ago. I read the book about the fourth agreement and the untethered soul. Like all those books that I read, I try to take what works for me and what have worked for other people, and I try to imply it. I do my best. I don't even do try. I work to imply it, and I do my best to get the best out of it and to continue doing it. Because I tell guys, once you start doing something, don't think, yeah, 2-3 months you're gonna be fine. No, it's like 3 steps forward, 2 backwards. You're gonna
Yeah.
go back to, the beginning. You say, fuck, this thing doesn't work. This thing sucks. Meditation sucks. Why am I doing it? And this is just your brain fucking with you,
Yeah.
and that's what I tell people. You have to tell your brain what to do. It's like Tony Robbins says, like, I take a cold plunge. I don't take a plunge, but I take cold showers. I had a girlfriend, I remember, that she used to put the thing as hot as possible, and I was as cold as possible. She's like, how can you take a shower in the winter with cold water? I'm like, because I can. I like it. It makes you feel alive. It
Yeah.
makes you feel alive. Like when you take cold shower, it's actually good for you. But they don't understand that. Why? Because they like the cozy stuff. They like the warm thing, They
Yeah.
don't want to
Well,
be.
I
Yeah.
can't do those. Those ice plunges get me. I'm not very good with the cold, but man, I appreciate it. I'm going to have you back on. We're going to have to talk
And
more about
absolutely,
this.
man.
Yeah, this has
Absolutely.
been fun. Man, I really do. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you being so open. You have an amazing journey, an amazing story. And I hope everybody out there really does pay attention to this and understand that when you think you have it bad, you really don't. But also when things get bad, work hard and think you can overcome these obstacles. And Miguel's right here saying that you can do it. He's proof that you can do it. And if you need help, Miguel, I imagine you're there for people to reach out to you and you can coach
Absolutely.
them along. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have any information that you want to give the public of a way to get a hold of you?
Right now, I'm on Facebook. I'm thinking of opening a channel on YouTube and start
Mhm.
putting things out there, like, for instance, like videos how I get into my gear, because this is when I talk to the guys. This is how they ask me, hey,
That'd
what
be
do
a
you
great
use?
idea.
What do you wear? So yeah, and I have those videos, but again, I'm not a social media person, and I have people say, "Hey, I go to the gym," and the guys are like, "Hey, man, you know what? Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you inspire, man.
Yeah.
I don't feel like coming to the gym, and then I come in and I see you working your ass off, and like, I'm like, what fucking excuse do I have, man?" So they come up to me, and I'm like, "No, man, thank you, because I come over here because I want to see people working out too."
Yeah, I
So
love it.
it's a both way. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, Facebook, reach out to Miguel that
Yeah.
way. That's how I got a hold of Miguel. So you definitely can reach on that way. And if you have any questions, I can forward it along to Miguel as well, and we'll get the ball rolling. But I really appreciate it. And if you guys are listening, please, like, check it out. Make sure you're seeing his story, understanding like, you can overcome diversity and become better on the outside and the inside as well when the
And
bad things hit. Absolutely.
yeah.
So I always like to end it too. We talked about mental health. I love to give a shout out to Next Rung. Next Rung is Blake Stennett and Charlie Brown. They operate Next Rung. So please, if anybody needs help, you can check that out right there. There's the barcode, and on the back you also have their information. So please reach out if you need help. These guys are here for you. They'll do the legwork.
Good.
They'll do. You just have to text them. They will help you get appointments to counseling. If you don't know where somebody is to reach to go to an office to seek help, you can go ahead and text them about that, and they'll do the legwork to get you the help that you need. For anybody in the New Hampshire area, especially in Nashua or Manchester or Milford area, if you're looking for an office to help, GD Psych Services in Nashua on Main Street, they deal with first responders. They know that the sources are limited, so if you need help, they have counselors who are ready. They do telehealth. They don't worry about the insurance part of it either. So if you need help, give them a call for GD Psych Services, and they will get you in the office and you can start talking. They'll worry about the insurance stuff later. They just want to get you help. So first step of getting help is knowing you have an issue and getting the help you need. Just like Miguel did. He knew he was having these issues, and even before his accident happened, and he was seeking help to get himself better. And we all need you around. So do yourself a favor, get the help first. And if you need help going to these places or other numbers, you can reach out to me and I'll do my best to get that to you. With that being said, Miguel, thank you so much for being on the C.A.N. Report, my friend. I appreciate it. It was a fantastic conversation. I can't wait to do this again. You have so much energy, so much passion. I love talking to you. And I've been telling everyone about this. I was telling my wife, I'm like, I have a really great podcast coming up. I got my man Miguel on, and I can't wait to talk to him. So now I always leave it with a slogan. I'm not sure if you're familiar with my slogan. So it's called, I say Nozzle Tov. So we're going to say it together, okay? So we're ready for it. All right. So you all be safe. Take care. Nozzle Tov.
Nozzle Tov.
We got it. All right.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Thank you so much, man. Anytime.
You're welcome.
I'm here. I love it. I love it. Thank you for giving me the chance, the time to come in and, and share this space with you. I love it, man. I love you, man. Thank you so much.
I love you too, brother. All right. Till next time, everybody have a good time. Be safe. Take care.